Myths are often dismissed as fiction, but what if they're echoes of real events? In this video, we'll explore famous myths that may be rooted in reality. 1. The legend of Atlantis. The story of Atlantis comes from Plato, who described it as a utopian island that disappeared beneath the sea. Some believe it's pure allegory, but others think it could be real. One theory links Atlantis to the Minoan civilization on Santorini, destroyed by a volcanic eruption around 1600 BCE. The eruption caused massive tsunamis, possibly aligning with Plato's account of Atlantis sinking in a single day and night. Another theory suggests Atlantis was near Spain, where underwater ruins resembling city structures have been discovered. Could these be remnants of a lost civilization? 2. The Epic of Gilgamesh. The Epic of Gilgamesh is one of the oldest stories ever written. It tells of a king's quest for immortality and includes a great flood that resembles the story of Noah's Ark. Archaeologists have found evidence that a real King Gilgamesh may have ruled the city of Uruk around 2700 BCE. Excavations of Uruk unearthed ancient tablets that mention Gilgamesh, lending credibility to the idea that he was a real figure, not just a myth. 3. Dragons in global mythology. Dragons appear in myths across nearly every culture, from China to Europe. How did so many civilizations imagine similar creatures? One theory is that ancient people discovered dinosaur fossils and interpreted them as evidence of giant, fire-breathing creatures. Others suggest that large reptiles like crocodiles or Komodo dragons inspired the legends. In medieval times, unexplored regions were often labeled with warnings like, "Here be dragons." 4. The Trojan War. The Trojan War, immortalized in Homer's Iliad, was thought to be a fictional tale. But in the 19th century, archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann discovered the ruins of Troy in modern-day Turkey. The city's destruction layers align with Homer's description of the war, and artifacts like ancient weapons suggest that a significant battle took place. While the famous Trojan horse may be a literary invention, the war itself likely had a basis in reality. 5. The Phoenix. The phoenix, a bird that bursts into flames and is reborn from its ashes, is a powerful symbol of renewal. Ancient Egyptians associated it with the Bennu bird, a heron-like creature linked to the sun god Ra. Some scholars believe the phoenix represents the sun's cycle of rising and setting. Others suggest it may have been inspired by birds living near volcanic areas, appearing to rise from smoke and ash. 6. The Great Flood. Flood myths appear in many cultures, from the biblical story of Noah's Ark to the Mesopotamian epic of Gilgamesh. Could they all be describing the same event? Evidence suggests a massive flood may have occurred in the Black Sea region around 7,000 years ago. Rising sea levels could have overwhelmed early settlements, inspiring stories of a great deluge passed down through generations. 7. The Minotaur and the Labyrinth. According to Greek mythology, the Minotaur, a half-man, half-bull creature, was kept in a labyrinth on the island of Crete. The hero Theseus eventually killed the Minotaur and escaped the maze. Archaeologists have discovered the ruins of the Minoan civilization on Crete, including the Palace of Knossos. The palace's complex layout may have inspired the legend of the labyrinth. Additionally, the Minoans revered bulls, which could explain the origins of the Minotaur myth. 8. Vampires and the Plague. Legends of vampires date back centuries, with tales of blood-sucking creatures haunting the night. But some historians believe these stories were linked to outbreaks of the plague. During the Black Death, corpses would bloat, and blood would seep from their mouths, leading people to believe the dead were feeding on the living. The idea of staking vampires to stop them may have originated from early burial practices meant to prevent the spread of disease. 9. The Fountain of Youth. The Fountain of Youth is said to grant eternal life to those who drink from it. The Spanish explorer Ponce de Leon allegedly searched for it in Florida, though there is no evidence he ever found it. Historians believe the legend may have been inspired by natural springs with supposed healing properties. Indigenous peoples often spoke of sacred waters, and these tales could have evolved into the myth of the Fountain of Youth. 10. The Lost City of El Dorado. El Dorado, the City of Gold, was a fabled place that lured explorers into the jungles of South America. While the city itself was never found, the myth likely stemmed from real events. The Muisca people of Colombia practiced a ritual where their leader, covered in gold dust, would bathe in Lake Guatavita. Spanish conquistadors heard these stories and believed they were evidence of a golden city, fueling the legend of El Dorado. Conclusion. Myths have long fascinated humanity, and as we've seen, many are more than just stories. They are echoes of real events, inspired by natural phenomena or reflections of ancient beliefs. Whether they are rooted in history or imagination, myths remind us that the world is full of mystery, waiting to be explored. What do you think? Could there be truth behind these ancient tales? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more explorations into the unknown.